All right, let's hit up some BAIDELS. We got an AskDakka today, so let me jump into something that's extremely complicated so I can't concentrate. This is kind of cool. Hylian of Destiny. Ross. It's kind of cool looking. Let me just see this one. It's kind of cool. Wow. 50 and 12. Impaler Death Pistons. This might be cool. Let me just go back. Shit. Fudge. Let me just get that up here. This. And then I'll pull it out real quick. I think. I hope. Deca Booms, are there any outpost types that you don't particularly enjoy? Edit, you are clearly a highly capable raider, so I presume you don't particularly care for low difficulty outposts, but maybe not. Yeah, that's not... That, is... Oh! That's kind of interesting. In the head. No, I don't mind low difficulty outposts. Really, and the reason is as long as it's cool and someone's found a way to make it fun, I really like them. And mostly it's because if I can kind of see why they dig something, that's entertaining for me. You know, if they're like proud about something, you know, there's some really cool looking ones that are just kind of more relaxed to go through. I wouldn't even call them easy, but they just, you know, like you don't have to expend as much effort. But I really like all types. And the only types I don't, I found, and I even have like a weird spot for them. Although there's some I really fucking don't. And I'll explain that right now. Ones that waste time, I don't particularly care for. But it's weird. Like if you're wasting my time for a... like with a purpose, I guess, if that makes sense. Like if your goal is to do that, I won't enjoy myself as much, but I will enjoy the fact that you set out to, you know, complete a goal. And if you did it well, I don't care if it's, you know, well, like I said, I'm not going to enjoy it as much as some others. But like, I would say the only ones I really, really don't like are ones that don't have the entrance clearly marked. And I may have done that before, so like I'm aware, you know, it's not, and I don't necessarily think it's on purpose. If it's on purpose, fuck you, for real, because then it's just like you're being a turd, and ultimately I think you just like fuck yourself over a little bit, because you're screwing up your replay. So it's really like a self-destructive kind of thing to do, but ultimately it's just like you don't get anything from it. So other than like, you know, stretching it out. So I would say those I don't really care for. But, like, if the intention, like, Vecna made probably the most evil base ever. And I forgot to throw that on the damn list, I just remembered. Damn. Well, Vecna, you had the most evil base I've come across, I'd say. Where he specifically set out with the goal to make it so annoying and long. What was the name of that Vecna? Was it, like, Welcome to Hell or something? I think it was Welcome to Hell. But he set out to make it so rough and, like, time-consuming and annoying that people left, and he would up the base. So it's like, that's pretty good. You know, like, I totally get people hating it. And to some degree, like, I hated it too, because I was like, man, I feel like I'm wasting my time. But at the very end, like, we figured it out. And that was kind of cool, and it also, like, made me go, wow, you did that so well. I was about to just, like, be like, it's not worth it. And be cool with it. Like, so far, there hasn't been a base I've given up on. But, you know, I would happily give up on a base like that and be fine. Like, I'd be like, well, I'll not waste my time and, like, miss out on that. But there is a part of me that's competitive where I'm just like, hey, I'd like to finish it. Oh, this is... I gotta get to there. Oh, shit, dog. That's a problem. Oh, it blew up. Oh, thank God. Your thing saved me. Okay. I'm not gonna go there to activate them. And if they got bloodlust, I don't want to pull them. Okay, so this is like a season 1 kind of base, I would say. So no, the low difficulty ones, I dig. You know, my prerequisite, as I've kind of said before, is as long as you're like proud of it, I'm probably gonna like it. And so far, that's pretty much been the case. Like, people don't send me stuff that's like super lame, and if they do, you know, um, there's normally something in there that's worth checking out. But because mostly, again, people won't do that just because it's kind of like wasting their time. And because, you know, like, why would they want to like send a base when I'm probably gonna like try and find something worth redeeming in it? And, you know, if their goal is to like, I don't know, like mess with me, like, you know, to some degree, I kind of think that's funny. Again, a long time ago, I said, you know, don't like, I don't want that to be like, hey, open season, you know, but like, I appreciate most kind of angles, I guess, with both life and bases too. And I've had people that like put me into what was one of them? One of them, someone was like, "Hey, you should try out this base," and it was what was that? That was pretty standard. I would say brutal on the get out. They sent me I think a streamer or like a content creator's base. I didn't know that. I thought it was theirs. Although, no, I didn't, because the name didn't match up. But then again, a lot of times the names don't match up, so I didn't know for certain. I did think it was his. But it was basically this, like, horrible... Not even... It was just boring. Like, it was a super... But that was the intention of that base. Like, when I found out later on, because someone was like, "Oh, dude, you probably don't realize this, but it's this guy." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, is he like a, you know, is he like a well-known person?" And then they like either shot me a link or told me name, and I looked it up, and that one looked cool. Yeah, this is sweet. This actually looks like almost a Cornish symbol. And he had like built this base to send to his buddies who were also streamers, just to like be. It was like a can you make it through without going insane kind of thing. And that shit was, it was long. It was uneventful. It was pretty boring. But, you know, it accomplished his goal. And you find out immediately, you know, that his goal is, you know, to like make it that way. It wasn't like I'm trying my best and I made a shitty base. It's like yeah, there you are. Okay. Wow, you're dodging all that. Pretty cool, guy. Take your pants, but you don't have any. But even those, like, I'm not like, oh, fuck that. It was just more like, you know, there isn't much to say. It's a pretty straightforward base. I'm just trying to be, like, boring and annoying. And that's a style, too. You know? I know... Damn. I know there's a shit ton more people that would disagree. And I also think they're valid. You know, every so often, if there's, like, a maze... You might notice in the comments, like, some people are like, "Yo, fuck that. If I saw that shit, I'm quitting." And I'm like, I get it, dude. Like, people, you know, don't... That's another part of those, is, like, you can do that, and you can go in with that goal, but you're also gonna find that a lot of people don't like it, which is okay if you don't care. But a lot of people are gonna leave as a result of it. And then your replays suffer, and then your base progression suffers, although I will say, Jesus, that was fucking awesome. Him flying around that. That was cool. Now he's stuck. Oh, that's painful. Yeah, I can't reattach you there, brother. It messes up the replay. Back in the day, it was much harder to level up your bases. And with my first base, it was pretty tough. And I didn't get a lot of accolades as a result of it. I want to say I don't think many people gave it fun. I'd have to go back. But it actually hurt you to make shitty bases. So now that's not the case. You can pretty much, I think, it's pretty easy to level them up now. Get them to 10, which is nice because you can complete it and then move on. Where my first base, I was like constantly reactivating it because I could not clear that threshold. It was, you know, and I'd see prestige 10s and I'd be like, holy shit, dude, like, nice job. Because I was working on mine for a hot minute. It was cool though because I kept like improving, and by the end it got really shit. That was cool. I knew I was missing a bolt. Where the hell did I shoot it? Way... Man. So, yeah, sorry for a long-winded answer, but there's really not much that I dislike, and certainly not like, oh, this is, you know, beneath my skill level. Like, I don't really see them that way. Like, because everyone's at a different stage of learning, and you don't know where they're at. Yeah, there's some people that, like, maybe suck. Sure, but, like, I've also 1000% encountered people who were picking up the game, and they sent me a base, and it was, you know, I picked it apart, and they took that home and you know, watched the videos and played longer, and they sent another base in, and it was fucking hard. And you're like, those are like some of my favorite people, because to me, that's someone who, like, you can tell started out just kind of, you know, I don't want to say low level, but like inexperienced with it, and you see them like learning and getting better, and then suddenly they're like a real threat, and you're like, this is fucking cool, you know, like, because it shows. Like, that doesn't mean shit. If you make a shit base that's awful and trash, it doesn't mean anything as long as you're willing to, like, learn and get better. And a lot of the people who watch, you know, these videos, they're all about it because this is fun. Like, this is great. Everything's new. Like, I've never walked down this path before. Exactly. Or this base, you know? There's similarities between some, but, like, people throw you off all the time. And there's so many different personalities that it's part of the fun for me is, like, trying to figure out the person. And they really show you what they like and what their style is by how they build. And it's why every so often I'll come across... Yeah, I figured that. I'll come across one where I'm like, this is a fucking genius, dude. Like, and I don't mean that in like a, you know, wow, what a, you know, great setup. Like, it'll be a base where I'm like, this is like a really advanced person that, or there'll be like so artistic and detailed where you're like, why aren't you fucking like creating art and selling it? Like, the fact that you can make this with shitty little, you know, blocks where you can only half and quarter, and I'm not trashing the game, but you know what I mean? There's a limited palette, if you will. Where does this go? Where I've genuinely been like, I hope you're making money. I hope you're, like, getting paid. Well, maybe not. Because you know what? Sometimes when you get paid, it just ruins it. Then it's like a fucking job. Where do I go? Did I go the wrong way? Can't be... I haven't seen Harvey in a minute. That's concerning. Oh, okay. That was like a little false path, maybe? Strange, though. Yeah, he's coming back with the goods. Okay. If you don't know, the glow on this is what, you know, if he's got it, he's coming back from it. So you can kind of use... That's why Harvey's so... That's why I keep him alive, and it's also just fun as like a little like side challenge, like to... Wow, yeah, that's pretty cool. His fly, you know, everyone's got different styles, and his flyer placement is like really cool. So, you know, like learning, I guess going through these bases, you kind of learn how to do the best of each thing. And I like to do like silly shit because almost all of my base building is like what would be awesome to see in the replay. That's all I give a shit about. Like, even if, you know, take your pants too, thank you. Even if people are like, hey, you know, this would work better in your base if you did this, and they're right. A lot of times, I don't really necessarily care, because, and it's not because I'm like, hey, fuck you. It's more like, you know what, I'm not even going for that. Like, there's a point where I do want to make stuff tough, and then there's a point where I want to see someone panic. And there's a point where I want to see them go like, oh, fuck. Like, that decision gate where they're like, you know, like, that shit is, like, priceless gold to me. And it's part of the reason I love this game so much, is the base building and then seeing other people's bases and how they do stuff. And just, like, going, oh, man, this is such a good idea. And then you just, like, take it and Frankenstein your own. There's a one in, I think, season 1... Maybe it's 2. No, it's probably 1. Season 1 of a guy who had, you know, he was pretty active, like, in the comments, and he would, like, you know, on some of the harder bases, he would be like, oh, this is good. And he was slowly taking all the ideas, and he made this Frankenstein base, which I'm pretty sure I called it that. And it was so awesome, because it was, like, all the stuff we had encountered together through these videos, and he smashed into a base, and it was fucking hard. And I was like, this is cool. This is kind of what I'm here for. Is I like seeing people's ideas, and it's really cool to see them get better, and have their own style. And like the TMs are cool, you know. I really like that. Like everyone just putting their, you know, when you see it, you're like, oh, cool. Because for me, like names sometimes get wrapped up unless they're like really active, like they comment a lot. What was that? He hid that. Oh yeah, his flyers were I like the way he placed those. Sometimes I won't. Oh, look at me. You know, sometimes it won't spark my memory, and then I'll see like a TM, like something they've done. I'm like, oh, cool. And I like remember what kind of style they are, and I'll kind of adjust accordingly. I think that's really neat. And it's also like showing like people are still around playing the game, and you know, I'm always. It's time. Did Chicken? I think Chicken said I could roll his. Let me just see if there's Snacksy Dippers. I'll wait for this because he might be leveling that. And honestly, I can't remember if he said it was cool. And I don't want to waste anyone's time looking for it. I think he said it was cool, but fuck it. I'll wait till Prestige 10 where he can maximize. So yeah, thanks for that question. But yeah, I pretty much like most things here in Whoa. Thought I heard an assassin up here. Alright, let's get in. It's just like a cool kill box. Oh, shit. Yeah, something got called out. Right? Got him. Oh, shit. That's not good. Oh, wow. I didn't get shit on that. Well, I got the wrong kit for this, I think. I'm gonna go in and get rocked, but it's okay. The idea is I want to get these bolts near each other. I got to get used to that. So when I fly through, I can grab them. Like right now. And I'm hoping there isn't hooks, but there probably is. Okay. Just playing it safe right now. Okay, he's toast. I did not get him. Oh, fug. Bunny hop. Let's do it. Shall we? I gotta go with the single bolt on this side, I think, to clean it up. It's not ideal, but what I gotta do. Yeah, I needed to make sure he died and I could collect. Nope. See, that was bad. I do have another bolt, though. Dangerous. That's not good for me. Right now, I'm just being a turd spinning around. I'm picturing him in the replays being like, yo, fuck you. Oh, he actually didn't make this a sync. It would have been a really good one. Yeah, I kind of counted these as losses, so that's cool. Green glow. But yeah, I think everyone's got their preferences, you know? I think if you were to ask me the opposite question, I would say fun. And fun traps are my weakness. And although I really, really enjoy tough bases, I can't do them, like, back to back to back to back. Like, I wouldn't want everyone being like, okay, nothing but tough bases moving forward. But I do, like, go through periods where I'm like, I would really like to just, like, fucking knock out 5 of the hardest bases that are out there today. And then, like, recoup. And then someone sends me in, like, a battle box like this where you're just, like, flying around. And this shit's cool. Like, this is fucking relaxing to me. And it's part of the reason I love this game is it's... That was fucked up. See? Then there's just, like, shit like that. That's awesome. Like, I can't recreate that in a lot of the games I normally play. But yeah, really, really fun ones. And fun is kind of a all-encompassing, you know? I've seen really artistic ones where I'm like, man, this feels like... Rev does one where it's, like, themed, like, The Thing. And that shit is cool, dude. Like... And that, like, just going in, you're like, oh, this is fucking uncomfortable, you know? Oh, fuck. Are you... Man, the timing on that was almost, like, killer. Again, can't... What happens with this? Love this room, you know? Like, this is the kind of shit I'm into. And if you can nail them all, you know, those are the ones that, like, hit my top 10s for me. It's unless something's in, like, an artistic category so on its own, like, above everything else that could, like, get on there, you know? But really, it needs to be, like, it needs to look cool, it needs to be fun, it needs to be challenging, and it needs to be, like, kind of ingenious or creative in some way. It's got to have all of those things where you walk away and you're like, man, there's really nothing I could say that would improve that. And I think if you can do that, you've hit it. And a few people have. It's fucking hard, and I'll tell you what, I haven't. In my own bases, I don't think I've ever hit all 4. I really don't. Yeah. I mean, you guys could tell me if there's one over another. This was absolutely this and absolutely this. Snacksy Drippers? Is that was his name? But I personally, I wouldn't put any of mine on the top 10. There's, you know, I bring up Clear Lake a lot because that was really the one that got me into this game. And I loved watching those replays. And I had my sons a couple times, like, we were watching it, and that guy's named Narc Crab. I'll probably go there. That's pretty funny. And it's a 5 skull, so. So I already have, like, some good memories of that, but really all of them are, like, a blast in different ways. I do wish, you know, stuff cranked out a little faster. But, you know, it's the speed that it's at, and it's probably the speed it is for a reason. Like, I don't think anyone's doing some withholding because they're like, we're going to bleed you. I think it's just like, this is as fast as they, you know, can get it out, maybe. I think the dev team for this game seems pretty cool. I think they have a community that's pretty into their shit. Oh, that's interesting. I like this little... Ooh. Where did I... Ah. Like this little dungeon you created here. the devs seem pretty cool. And they seem to have done a really fucking good job with this game. I think it's appropriately priced. I think the stuff they've added is cool as shit. I think the assassin is awesome. I love that they've listened to the community. The Ravager was like, I wasn't like as butthurt as some other people were, but I also understand why they were. You know, about the changes, but also the Ravager was like dominating the fucking scene because it was so good. So like they were trying to balance it out, and maybe like that. Oh, there's one up there though too. Can I get this back though? Yeah, probably. So, you know, it did need something because, like, no one was using the grunt. Because the grunt sucked. Comparatively. And the Ravager is just, like, fundamentally better. So I think they brought that back in line. It's just... It's not a shitty dev team. I think it's a team that really likes their game. And that is awesome for a dude who enjoys playing this game. You know, it would suck if the devs were, like, buttholes or, like... you know, didn't give a fuck. Or like, yeah, whatever, you know? Because then I'd be like, oh, well, that sucks, because, like, the game I really like is, like, you know, the dev team behind is, like, couldn't give two shits. But also, would I like a game where the devs didn't like it and didn't give a shit? Probably not. So, this community is really cool, too, and I don't just mean this one. I mean, I think the Meet Your Maker community in general is pretty chill. And I think it's because there's a lot of problem solvers, and problem solvers normally just, like, want to figure stuff out, and they don't give a shit about where the origin is. They're just like, if you can provide something useful, they're, like, all about you. And if you're curious about something, they'll help you out, because that's what those types of people do, is, like, they like to learn stuff, and then they like to share it. And as a result, like, I mean, as a community, I think we've all gotten really fucking good. And that is, well, that's, see, I've never seen that. I mean, it's all new every time. I was worried about that one. This is funny. And if you just stumbled upon it, started, you know, playing, or if you've been around for a while, you know that, but... you'll find pretty quick, like, if you ask about shit, like, hey, you know, I couldn't make this work. There's someone who's like, hey, yeah, I've had some problems, or this is what I've done. Like, people aren't, like, turds about their bases. Everyone's pretty cool with, like, oh, yeah, I'm taking that. And you're like, good, do it. It's awesome, right? You know, like, it's worked for... ooh, that's a oh, that's probably on purpose, though. Which is cool. Like, you don't often see that in games. People get pretty competitive, but it's like this community thrives on us working together, because raiders need to be good in order to, like, advance the builders, and the builders need to be good in order to make the raiders better. And so, like, really everyone benefits from everyone being, like, really hardcore. Well, for people like me who like that kind of shit, I'm sure there's other people who are like, dude, I'm just trying to fucking relax. don't kill box me. Which, you know, there were a lot of complaints about that, and I'm like, that's part of the game. Like, it took me a couple of bases before I built my first one, because I was just doing sneaky stuff that was way funnier to me. That guy was cool, and he did his own thing. But when I did a kill box, it was hilarious. You know, people, like, trying to get through that was kind of funny, and it's just a different style. And I think if you can appreciate all the styles, I think you're going to have a good time. And I think for the most part I do. Even mazes. It's really just the ones that are, like, needlessly wasteful of time. Because then it's like, what? You're just fucking your replay too, dude. You're, like, sitting here watching me walk around for 20 minutes. Like, you're literally just making both of our lives hell, you know? And you're like, why? So those are really the only ones in answer to your question. All right. I will stop there.